Today we're diving into what I believe is the single biggest red flag for the US economy right now, the job market. And before you tune out thinking, I've heard this before, let me stop you. What's happening right now in the labor market is something we have never seen before in modern history. Not in the 60s, not in the 80s, not even during the Great Recession. That's why economists are ringing alarm bells. And if they're right, it could change the way all of us live, work, and even save money for years to come. So here's the deal. Economists track something called the 6-month rate of change in core jobs. Sounds complicated, right? But it's basically just job growth in the private sector, excluding government and healthcare. And here's the shocking part. That number has slowed all the way down to just 0.02%. That's barely above zero. Now, why does that matter? Because every time in history when job growth flatlines like this, the next step has almost always been layoffs, higher unemployment, and, you guessed it, a recession. But here's what makes this moment different. Usually when job growth tanks, it bounces back with a spike. You get that up and down cycle on the charts. This time, we're just sitting flat. No bounce, no rebound, just a frozen labor market. And that's terrifying because the US economy has been leaning heavily, almost entirely, on healthcare jobs. In fact, nearly 87% of private payroll growth in 2025 came from healthcare alone. Meaning, if you're not in healthcare or hospitality, you're basically out of luck. Now, the Federal Reserve sees this too, and instead of tightening policy, they're using it as justification to cut interest rates again. But wait a second. The Fed doesn't just have one job. Their mandate is twofold: keep employment strong and keep inflation under control. And here's the problem. Inflation is still alive and well. The Fed's own preferred metric, the PCE index, rose 0.3% just last month, and the annual rate is now close to 3%, way above their 2% target. So the question is, are they solving one problem while letting the other spiral out of control? And here's where things get even scarier. Take a look at how different assets are performing when priced in gold. Major currencies, down more than 50% in just 5 years. The Dow, negative over that same time frame. Even the S&P 500, which everyone keeps bragging about hitting all-time highs, is only up about 5% in gold terms. Gold is exposing the truth. Our dollars are buying less, assets are worth less, and inflation is quietly robbing people while Wall Street pretends everything's fine. And this isn't just charts and data. Real families are getting squeezed. Even budget-friendly chains like McDonald's and Dollar General are reporting weaker sales because lower-income customers simply can't afford to keep spending. Meanwhile, trades like plumbing, electrical work, and machining, they're still hiring. Why? Because those jobs can't be outsourced to AI or replaced by automation overnight. But in tech, thousands are being laid off at companies like Intel and Microsoft, leaving skilled workers jobless for months or even years. If you're wondering how people are feeling about all this, the data tells the story. Consumer confidence is dropping like a rock. The Conference Board's index just fell to 94.2, its lowest level in 6 months. People are quitting jobs less, job openings are shrinking, and voluntary turnover is at rock bottom. That's not a sign of a healthy labor market. That's a sign people are scared to death of losing what little stability they still have. So here's where we're at. Job growth outside of healthcare? Basically zero. Inflation? Still running hot. The Fed? Cutting rates anyway, risking even higher prices. Stocks? Overvalued when you measure them against gold. And regular Americans? Struggling to keep up with rent, food, and bills. The scary truth is, we're in uncharted territory. And while economists debate whether we're officially in a recession or not, the reality is this: most people already feel like we are. So let me ask you, do you think the Fed's decision to cut rates will save the job market? Or is it just going to pour gasoline on the fire of inflation? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss the next update.